Hello guys, I just have a real quick update for you on the Yamaha TTR50. I found that I was having problems starting this when it was cold. Once I got it started, it would run good and it would start good. But the cold start was horrible. I mean, I'd crank and crank and crank and crank and crank. So I ended up taking the carburetor back off, and I want to talk about what I found. I went ahead and put it back together and everything. But there's a couple of things I want to share with you in this video that might be helpful. So I just want to show you now, this bike is cold as could be. It's been sitting for a long time, but I want to show you how easy it is to start it now. I'm going to turn the key on. I'm going to turn the choke on. Now I found this out recently too, is straight up and down isn't full choke. You got to come over a little bit farther for full choke. But I want to show you what I found on the cold start. I mean, it made 100% difference in the way it was cold starting. I suspected it was in the choke circuit, which this does not have what you would think of a choke as something that closes off air. This is actually a fuel enrichener. So whenever you pull this lever, it's allowing excess fuel or extra fuel to go in for to burn into the engine. And so the farther you pull this, the more fuel it's going to allow in. And what was happening was I'd pull that and no fuel was coming through there. I'll show you what I found. This is a drawing of the carb bowl. Of course, your carburetor sits up here. It's got 4 screws that hold your bowl on. Well, it's got a little ledge inside of the bowl. So if you take this off, if you unscrew it, this would be separate from the carburetor. It has a little ledge that sits right here, and there's a hole in that ledge. Well, there's a passage that goes in the body itself over to a tube. And this tube is what allows your fuel enrichener, when you pull that up on the handlebars, it lifts up the enrichener and allows fuel to come through this tube and out into the carburetor and into the engine. And whenever you close the enrichener, it closes off this tube. Well, what happened with mine is this area right here, which is really tiny, was plugged up. What I did to get this unplugged is I put it in my ultrasonic cleaner and I cranked up the heat, and after some time it finally cleared out with some compressed air. So now it blew through it, because before nothing would come out of this. Now it's blowing through it and everything's going well. And that's why the fuel enrichener wasn't working. And this is what I wanted to show you about the choke or the fuel enrichener. That is only half choke straight up. You have to pull it over a little bit more like that, and that's full choke. I didn't realize that. So that's completely off, half choke, full choke. Okay, I wanted to show you that too. The last thing I want to show you is this right here is the pilot air fuel mixture screw. And I had to adjust mine, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But this screw was not visible. I'll show you what I did to remove the plug that was in this. This was the plug that was in it. All I did was drilled a hole in the center of it, right there, and then I stuck a screw in it, and I screwed it down, and then I took a pair of pliers and I just pulled that plug out to reveal the screw. And I'm going to tell you why I did that in just a second. What I noticed is that I had just a little throttle lag off of idle, but more than that, whenever I would rev it up, it would stay revved up and slowly come back to idle. It didn't immediately come back to idle like it was supposed to. So I adjusted my air fuel mixture screw after I revealed it in there. And I think it was only out like a 1 1/4 turn. And I believe I have it out like 2 1.25, 2.5 turns, something like that. But it works fantastic now. It comes back to idle quickly. There's no lag in the throttle, and it runs well. It starts good cold because I fixed that on the carburetor, and I wanted to share that with you guys in case you had any trouble with your especially your fuel enrichener circuit. You know, it could be a frustrating thing if you have a lot of hard starting when it's cold. So just look for that if you have that issue. All right, I just want to share it with you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.